Okay, so while I was changing the fuel filters on the Holy Roller, a problem kind of cropped up where the fuel filter drain valve, when I cracked it open to drain some fuel out of the secondary fuel filter, it wouldn't seal back up properly. Come to find out, that's kind of a common thing. And so what I did was take a kind of an excerpt out of that video to do just a specific video on how to replace that secondary fuel filter drain valve, because it is pretty it's hard to get to and it's kind of hidden, but it is something that you probably are going to have to run into. You're going to run into having to change that at some point. So here we go. Alright, so we'll clean the area as best we can. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this secondary, this is the secondary fuel filter. The filters in here is chemically coated to prevent water from getting in the engine, as well as that other fuel filter has the water bowl. But one of the known problems with changing this out is that there's a valve on the side here that you can drain fuel out of this to be able to drain water out. And what happens is that this valve sticks and it won't close back. So whenever you change the fuel filter here and you drain that breaks that, and then you have a fuel leak. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace that valve as well. So the first thing we're going to do is put this 1" socket on, and we're going to try to remove this filter. Alright, so we've got the filter loose, and now what we can do is drain the fuel out of the bowl, which is with this valve here. We can just open that up and fuel is just running down from there down to the ground. Alright, so we'll take the top off. We'll just set that over here on the engine. We can take the fuel filter out as well. What we're also going to do is clean that bowl. If you can see down in there, there's some trash down in the bowl that's dirty, so we want to clean that out as well while we've got this open. Now you do want to be careful here if you are using this method, because there is a sensor in the back of this bowl that detects if there's water in the fuel water separator part of this bowl, so you don't want to hit that sensor with anything you're sticking down in that bowl. My hands are too big to get down into the bottom there, so I'm using the other end of that brush that I use to clean part of the engine. So just be careful about, if you do this, be careful with that sensor that's back there. Alright, so we've got to get to these screws right there. So this may end up being a two-handed operation here. Now there is a hose that's right in the way. What we'll do is take this off, and that's going to be a Torx bit. I can't even see what I'm doing.
Your head's
I need to move my light.
Now your light's in the way.
Yeah, I know. Everything's in the way. Alright, I got one screw. That's a mystery. How to get to that thing. I can't get to it. Well, I guess the bigger thing is I can't see it when I get down in there.
Shall we go down below it?
Well, I don't know if I can get up in there. Alright, I got 2.
Are you actually under?
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, I can see it, but I couldn't get to it. It's a whole lot easier to get to it from up there, I think. Okay. So now all I can do is wrap around this thing. I'm just using this to pull it up out of the way.
This hurts my neck.
Okay, so now that's up out of the way. So now I can get to it.
So we're gonna get them out and then screw new ones in.
Uh-huh.
And the harder part's gonna be screwing it in.
Uh-huh.
Because it's gonna fly out every time. Did you get it?
Uh-huh.
Yay! Hooray.
Now I got that one, but now I gotta get this one. So now this should just come right off. There we go. And there's the old one. All right, so what you can see, this is the old one. We can take it apart and you can see that down inside of there is a little rubber O-ring, and this we can move up, and it moves up and down, and it moves this up and down inside, which blocks the outlet.
There goes all of them.
And what happens is that this gets a little old, and then when you break the seal and it is letting stuff drain out from that, when it goes back down, it doesn't completely seal all the way inside. So what we're going to do now is replace this with a new one. All right, so what comes in the replacement packet is the new body, the new body that we'll replace, plus a new O-ring for the top lid, plus all the screws to put everything back together, plus new O-rings for where this body fits in with the RV's engine down there. So let's go ahead and replace that O-ring there, and that has an O-ring on it, so that's already good. Actually, we can put that in last, so we'll just leave that out. So what we've got to do is replace this. All right, so I like that. Make sure I've got my O-ring on there, and I do. So now, once that's on and lined up exactly where it needs to go, we can put the new screws in. All right. So now the new drain valve has been installed, and now we can see where the drain valve is going to go, or the actual valve itself goes, the handle, so that works fine. So now what we'll do is put the filter in, now the top, and make sure that you put a new O-ring around the top and that you put some silicone grease on there. Snug this on down. Remember, you don't want to snug it, you don't want to put it on there so tight that you can't get it off, but obviously we don't want any leaks. All right, so that's all there is to it, to changing a secondary fuel filter on a Cummins 5.9 engine, especially in my Discovery RV that's a 99. It's the same on every single 5.9 Cummins engine, so that should work if you've got a truck or an RV, whatever. The kit, the drain valve kit that you get from Fleet Guard does include a new O-ring and an O-ring that goes on the drain valve assembly. You don't always have to change out the drain valve. One tip is that whenever you're changing your fuel filters and you change the primary one on the outside and then the secondary one on the inside, that you can put a couple drops of oil down inside that drain valve. So take the top off, put a few drops of oil in it, and that will extend the life of that drain valve. But whatever it is, get out there, fix your stuff, have fun, RV, enjoy this time with your family, get outside of your comfort zone and try to fix some stuff. Make sure you make it to church on Sunday.